Not every A student are successful, and not many low-level grade students are failure. You see that a lot of them at that level are usually become the big boss. So you put TVET in a very lower tier. So, but in Cambodia, TVET is a priority. I would prefer we don't do the national exam for the sake of failing student or passing student, and give the wrong perception, the past university, the failed TVET. That will not help TVET for a long term. I feel Cambodian students probably facing the most stressful situation in their life. I see thousands and thousands of students, and almost everyone have the same problem. Stress, then go to depression, then go to bipolar, then go to schizophrenia.
I want to welcome all of you to Future Forum, but more importantly, the Education Policy Night. And this notion of Policy Night, there's a few reasons why we actually call this a Policy Night. Number one, because it's happening at night. We want to ensure that the policy discussion will take place in a very informal setting. Please, by the way, don't take this too seriously. I want you to relax. Hopefully you can enjoy the evening, enjoy the conversation, enjoy the discussion. We do want to discuss the education policy this evening. Now, this theme, this topic comes at the heel of the Batdop exam. What is Batdop in Khmer? What is that called again? Batdop. So it's actually on the heel of the high school exit exam, which probably is one of the most influential assessment tool in education, in Cambodian education. And this is why I think this evening, this topic should be, I hope, interest all of you. Because one of the things one of the theories is that assessment determines the education, determines the learning. I've made a joke that our education system from grade 1 all the way to grade 12 is not about educating young people, but about preparing young people for the exit exam, for the Batdop exam. So it's almost like 12 years going into with a singular purpose to try to prepare hundreds of thousands of young people so they can take the Batdop exam. It's kind of a very significant exam, but I think it's also one that I think we need to question, we need to ask, we need to also reflect upon. But also, post-exam, the exam results itself will also determine the fate of many of the young learners, because you either get what is it called, the A, what is it called, the grade A, right? What's Nite A, which then could mean that you have access and opportunities and scholarships and potentially some motorcycle gifts also from the prime ministers. But also that also could be determining fate of many other people who might not have the desired results. The question I want to ask tonight, and this is something that I do want more engagement from the audience, is should those results be as significant as they have been? Is there any way we can do something better, particularly looking at the pathway for secondary education? But more importantly, I hope you will be more engaging. Do so casually. Don't take this too seriously. I hope you also get to enjoy the evening. The reason we want to call this Policy Night because we want it to be a bit more casual. We don't want policy discussion. We don't want a policy forum. We don't want something too serious. So do engage in the conversation. I will try to be as engaging as I can with my dear brother Oknha Dr. But also, I want to invite all of you to also join the conversation. But more importantly, as well, after the sessions hopefully trigger much better, much more, which is actually the more important session of this, is that you can then have the breakout groups where hopefully the conversation will then flow at a smaller group at each of the table we have already set up. And so, without any more delays, I want to invite my dear brother Bong Mengly to come and give an opening remarks.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Virak, founder and president of the Future Forums. It's quite an honor to be able to participate this evening, and this is the first time with forums. Yeah. And as you know, Cambodia. Before we go further, I want to say something a little bit. What we discuss here is not pro or con or against any government policy, anything. Just a discussion purpose basis. Okay. So I want to start saying that Cambodia education system has changed a lot over the past several decades. Number one, students now have more access to education. Number two, enrollment has increased drastically, and infrastructure, even though it's not enough overall, but it has increased also. And many more young Cambodians are finished high school and go on to higher education. And this is a very pleasant news to know and to hear of. And also, moving forward, I want to ask some questions that usually we've been asking many times in educational sector to see how many students are attending school. This question seems a little bit awkward. In other countries, Cambodia is the same thing. We want to know how many students attend school, and we do all campaigns to make sure that students attend school. And as you know, the Cambodian students start school sometime even at age 2, preschool. And then they go on to 12 years of K-12. So it's about 12 to 14 years. And then you do all kinds to make sure that students attend school, don't drop out. But eventually, you drop them out at the end for almost very high percentage. Starting from 2014, we have only 49% passing. That is extremely painful. So for me, it's the opposite. You want students to go to school so that they finish and they're able to go on. But then you ask them to go to school after 12 to 14 years, and then you drop them. So this is a disaster for many students, and it's quite painful. In Cambodia, we have a big stigma on those who fail. So those who pass go to university, and the perception is that those who fail go to TVET. So you put TVET in a very lower tier. So, but in Cambodia, TVET is a priority. So what can we do to change all this, to move of this? And also, Cambodia is in developing country. Developed country like Cambodia, we need a lot of human power in TVET skill, technical, digital, science, and so on. But yet, we don't have many TVET schools available. Those TVET schools available are all overcrowded. And so what can we do? Number one, you give stigma saying that those who fail go to TVET. And yet in Cambodia, because of such stigma, many students either go crazy, drunks, and become lousy citizens after they get so disappointed. And some even use drugs and become useless. And eventually some have parents and family support and move on to overseas. So Cambodians, we don't have human resource enough to supply the labor that are in demand, not only in a regular job, but also in skilled labor. And we have so many of university graduates that are soft skill, which is not very needed much in Cambodia. Well, soft skill in terms of soft skill, like we call emotional intelligence, those kind of soft skills we need. Public speaking, communications, and character behavior, and teamwork, and so on, we need. But in terms of other business skills, social science, I mean, it's too abundant, too abundant. So what can we do? Can we just go on, continue this examination and filter the few best that sometimes could do nothing? Or we filter the result of the examination and study where students good at and try to accommodate those students to certain field. Sometimes students are good at business, sometimes good at entrepreneurship, and sometimes good at technical, and some at digital, and some at social science. So there's so many. So we test the student not to fail them, we test students to assess their understanding. So what we are doing is totally opposite from so many countries in the world. So, but does it mean that we don't have to have standard exam? Every country has, but that is not a determination, is not a dead end for the student. What we have is a dead end for student. So, and before we give them a chance to move forward, continue education in TVET, vocational and university, you already failed them. So it's very hard to persuade students to study further. So they just move on and to migrate to other countries and so on. In a way, you leave a big vacuum of spaces where no one feels. Hard to find regular labor and also hard to find skilled labor. So, but Cambodians, every statistic say that we need to have skilled labor in field like AI, digital, and so on. So what can we do? So there's many pathways, but the pathway has been given the wrong perception. We have students graduate, finish high school. If they fail, if they pass, they go to university, definitely. But if they fail, they can retake the exam next year, which a lot of people feel very ashamed and wasting time. And if they fail, they can go on to associate degree, study 2 years, but they end up studying 5 years to finish bachelor degree. And those people who fail, usually if you look at statistics, are very poor students from province and low-income family. No, the burden is already there. But now you put another burden, is that extend their year of study, which means paying more tuition. So that's impossible for them to go. Or they can go to TVET, which is very difficult because there's not many TVET programs that are providing to supplement the needs in Cambodian market. And some TVET, you can't find place to go. Some university before study Monday to Friday, now Saturday and Sunday, now evening, and now, my goodness, crazy. There's so many shifts that have to go to. And less resources, more and more students, and the crowded become, the infrastructures become limited, and so on. So rather than having students to go through all that, I think it does not mean that we have to stop the national exam. It does not mean we have to open many schools to accommodate different fields. You know, in 7th to 10th grade, we call secondary school. 7 to 9, that's called lower secondary school. And usually it's the time when counselor, teacher, family member explore them, expose them, and explain to them to see what they like, if they enjoy that, if they like that, if they're interested in that. So you explore them. By the time they get to 10th grade in high school, they call upper secondary, that's when you inform them, work with them to choose the major that they have been explored. But this process doesn't exist in Cambodia. Very few schools that have counselor, career counselor, college counselor, hardly any, especially you look at public school. We do have some in private school if they are expensive. And there's so many private schools that are open, competing cutthroat. But what for? The population financial statistic and middle income are very small. They can't afford those schools. And yet, many people go for that rather than to the K-12 normal school where everyone can afford. So this is all policy mixed up. If you want to encourage school to open a lower level where students can afford, which is what new generation is doing right now. They charge about $400-500, which some private school is charging right now. So encourage more new generation kind of school and ask them to go, open throughout the provinces and don't stagnate in Phnom Penh. It's too many schools, too congested and too competitive. So therefore, I don't think it's beneficial. So I think when upper secondary school, we can help them choose the major and identify so that they could focus. In high school, they could go to the second shift. Usually they have two shifts, morning and afternoon. They can go to two shifts, second shift, and to plan study. If the school doesn't have program for them, study like technical, digital, and literacy, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, social science, that they can accommodate the high school and they come up and they go study those kind of school. But right now, we only have social science, and students study so hard the full day that I feel that sometimes Cambodian students are working so hard that I think they're going to become crazy sometime. They dedicate morning because only short day, they end up studying in the evening, another private tutoring. So they end up paying anyway. So morning until evening at around 5, and then they have to go to computer classes or sometimes Chinese classes. So you bombard them with so many programs that eventually they overstudy. But that's only a small portion of the population that can afford that. So as a result, you have segmented success that fulfill some of the requirements, and you leave a big segment of population nowhere to go. And scholarship is not available, and funding, financial aid is not available, and private schools are not available enough for the student. So what pathway do you have for them? What pathway? So it's become a dilemma for the whole country. It become a dilemma. So I don't know what the government is going to do, but I know that they try their best to have more class, more student enrollment, more graduate, and so on. But is it really a quality study? And sometimes we also get so many MOU with different countries. But remember, we only have one shift, 7 to 11, where you're going to squeeze them in. It's auto filled. No matter how many programs that's available, many MOUs, many support, but you cannot put all those literacy, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, coding, AI, digital, and so on. You cannot put them in there because there's only one shift. And at the same time, they have to go to tutoring another half day in order to pass. So they have no time for those MOU, those extra programs, those classes that the country are in need of, are in demand. So I think it's very difficult for the government to tackle this issue. It's not easy. And we don't blame them. It's just the situation we are in right now. But I know that they have done their best to improve so much. If we were to compare ourselves 10, 20 years ago, we don't compare ourselves with the developed country. They have invested so much, they put so much fund into expanding, into increasing quality, training and so on. So you compare them with them. We compare us with us. Back to 10, 20 years ago, we are way better. We have moved such a big step forward that we are coming to this far. So I have a lot of issue here to talk here, but I hope that we will have a pathway that students are able to go through. And at the same time, we don't have to create many schools to accommodate those pathways. So we have to find middle ground. And I hope that the discussion will lead up to some possible pathway that we can support students. But I give you this scenario. In America, where I'm from, everyone passed, no fail. You fail only if you don't come to school. And even then, even that, they send counselor, teacher to go home to parents to ask them to come to school. If you come to school, you definitely pass, because every person have different quality, different interest, different skill, and are able to come up with different result at the end in their life. Not every A student are successful, and not many low-level grade students are failure. You see that a lot of them at that level are usually become the big boss, opening big company. They are more clumsy. They are more, how I say, they pick up this, they pick up that. They don't study, but they play game and they play puzzle and they join sport. So everyone end up become musician, sport, become cartoon, game, and so on. And some of them even become a businessman. So they ask everyone to come, so they pass them. And they create a school that have many options for students. Those who are not doing well, and just to let you know how this program work in America, if you're grade 9, you study this level, but sometimes grade 9, they study this level. So based on their assessment, not every school study the same. For example, we have 10 to grade 12. And they have like a few level of English level. Sometimes the grade 12 only at level 1. So when the time comes, they run to level 1. And those who grade 10, sometimes they run to level 3. So everyone that's in level 3 go in level 3. So no matter what grade you are, you all pass. Pass with different...
Can you shorten a bit and then we're going to start the conversation?
Pass with different grade. And then when you apply, you can apply to community college, trade school, technical school, state university, and university. They have many options for you. At the end, they all graduate and find way. Thank you.
Thank you for your introductory opening remarks. Actually, as a product of the U.S. school system myself, I have to say I'm not completely all rosy, but also there's a lot of criticism of the U.S. Education system, particularly for developed countries. It's ranked relatively low for a rich country, as compared to other people. So I'm curious to continue with this with my questions on the number one is actually on looking at your reflections on the two, right? Back exit exam. What have you seen in this past exam that's taken place last month, or was it 2-3 weeks ago? What's your view on the exam, and how could that be?
Even as usual, every year after year, students are memorizing, and then they take the test, pass or fail. And then still a high percentage of fail. If you say about the system, you still fail a lot of students. But I think the government try to find a way to improve it. Number one, they were very disappointed that when the test came in the ASEAN, I think the name of the test became at the bottom. That
It's PISA score.
yeah, it was a shock for the government. And then this year, students changed from science about 80% to 20%. And those who were in social science, about 20-30%, now they move to, those who are in science move to social science.
Why
And
is that the
people
case?
are moving toward science only about 20%. So the reverse also. What is the reason? Well, when you apply to college, it doesn't matter if you are social science or you are science, you can apply to anywhere. And when you take exam, social science perception is easier to pass. So they want passing rate. So you do ourselves a disservice by failing so many students. Students find other way to bypass
what
that.
would you propose the government could do better in terms of either the exam itself? What in your opinion, how would the government could do something better? And now the reason I'm asking is also we know in the US we have the SAT, and I think it's standardized assessment tool or something like that. It's an SAT, but SAT is not an exit exam. You don't have to pass the SAT. SAT is basically a score. It worked toward university admission,
Yes.
but it has nothing to do with graduating from high school. Is that something that could be done here in Cambodia?
We do tests about 2-3 times per year to assess students, not to determine whether students will pass or fail. Because they want everyone to have the opportunity to go to college, either trade school, community college, state university or university. All will end up with a bachelor degree, can find job. And A1 is important. So how can Cambodia do it? Number one, I would prefer that we do the assessment test, not the fail or pass test. And then trying to get those assessments, and then we try to accommodate school that would have those who are interested in technical vocational school field, they can go to high school in 10 to 12 grade and focus on that more. And then that way when students graduate, they have the skill to work.
Let me follow on this
Yeah.
because you own and operate multiple schools. I don't know how many. I've lost count. How many schools you have in the private school you operate?
We have 24 campuses.
24 campuses.
Yeah, and 25,000 students.
25,000 students. So you have a lot of influence on 25,000 lives,
Yes.
young lives. You also have the university, no?
I established a university in 2014 and it was closed.
And let me.
And 5-6 years ago, I applied for medical license, was rejected many times. So no further question asked. Learn how to zip your mouth.
I was going to ask, because what's your view? Because one of the things, how would you prepare in your high school? How do you prepare your high school students? In what way are you preparing for them to pass the exam? In what way are you preparing them for the quality of learning? Are those two the same? And if not the same, what are the conflicting decisions that must go through your mind?
Every school is all depend on the governance and the curriculum itself and the quality of the teaching and the top management of the school. So you look at school, you have one director for almost a lifetime. So it's become a dictating. I'm not saying dictatorship, it's become dictating. And how many times do they have training? How many times they have improvement session? And how many times they mobilize around so many new capable people can move up and so on. So if you have that kind of governance where all directors stay for life and then there's not much changing, then you don't have a good system of governing the teacher. And then you don't have enough teacher. And if you have enough, you cannot control teacher to go to teaching at private school, which is, I'm very happy that they do that, because if they don't come to private school to teach, private school cannot open. So it's a yes and no recommendation. So if they don't come to private school, we cannot open private school. But if we cannot open private school, the government would not have enough school to accommodate the increase in students. So we support each other in a way. But to have the teacher who are supposed to be teaching full time at public school, then they take all the time to private. And this is all known, but you have to say it. Teacher can come out by paying some money to the director and so on to cover up and so on. And it's normal in Cambodia. We all understand it. We don't blame it, because if they don't do that, how are they going to survive? The inflation rate is so high, and it keeps increasing every year. So in order to have a good school where students can pass, you have to have a good director, and you have to have quality teachers that are there to teach. But the teacher at certain school, public school, they are not as dedicated as in private school. You could have the same teacher, but totally different person.
Why is that the case?
Well, private school pay money. So that's how it is. So can we do the same for private school?
Can I follow up
Yeah.
on this? What is your what's the feedback from parents when they decided to choose your school versus public school? What are the main reasons why they would choose a private school and pay from their own pocket versus sending the kids to public school?
We have qualified teacher. That's number one. And we pay attention to the safety. That's number two. And we make sure the teacher teach what is expected to be on exam. They cannot do tutoring. It's 100% no, zero tolerance. We will fire you right away, even if you're there 20 years. You have to teach whatever that expected in the exam. All students have to learn. And the safety is very important, meaning that they cannot go out, join game and play game and so on. They have to be able to study, and also their discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just you say that the governance of private school means you're doing things to ensure children's safety, the teachers are actually behaving, and also doing quality teaching.
In addition to that,
But why is that the case? Is it because you care about the parents, about the children, or is it because the parents have the power? Is it because with their money they can move their children?
Number one, I open school because I care about the youth. And in the school, we are the only school that have healthcare also. Every center, we have 17 health centers. So we provide that. That is a safety net for parents. And we want to make sure that students are healthy and they grow properly. The food are also checked. Make sure that they have, basically we care from food, from health, from behavior, from learning, and everything include the most important, the extracurricular activity.
How could we apply that to the public school? How can we get the public school to care about safety, about quality of education, about what you just talked about in terms of health, safety, and all of that?
It's all boiled down to fun. All boiled down to fun. If you pay teacher enough, they stay. If you pay more, they will teach well. And if you have more money, you can hire, extracurricular teacher, sport, and computer, and so on. So basically, it's all boiled down to funds.
Finance.
Yes.
How many of you in the audience just took the exit exam? The BATU? You?
No, I finished last year.
Oh, you finished last year, so you still remember. You still remember that. How did you feel about the exit exam? Is this really important, or is it helpful for you in terms of the learning, or what?
Personally, people think about that. But for me, I think I really want to choose the major that I learned in the university one because I studied about that most.
So you worry about university acceptance more than the high school learning. So when you were in high school, were you care more about learning or care more about passing the exit exam?
I care about learning, the quality of learning, but the real thing is not like that.
I want to know the real thing. I don't want to know the the not so real thing. Tell me the real thing. Tell us the real thing.
Um, the real thing is that we just remember the lesson and then we go to take the exam, and everyone do like that. And for me, I don't really happy with my result, even I got a number one in the class. But I don't know why, but I still want to learn something that new, not only in the class or in the lesson.
Okay. You just make me feel really old. 'Cause the high school exam must be around 30 something years ago.
Yes, yes,
Some years ago. Anybody in the audience who have comments, short comment? If comments have to be very short, or questions.
I've been in the field of education for over a decade, and I noted down the question. I observe that these exams heavily affect the quality of life and learning for students to the point where it becomes a culture or an accepted part of life. Since this definitely falls under the need for revisiting our policies, how do you propose we change our assessment framework to shift this culture and prioritize students' well-being? I had this situation wherein I met a parent a couple of years ago, and then the parent is asking me to help the kid with certain things. And then I asked the parent, can you tell me the schedule of your child? Oh, he goes home at 5, and then he has to study until 8, and then he has to prepare for the exam until 12. And then I asked the parent, how do you expect me to help your child if the schedule of your child is already at a breaking point? So yeah, that's my question. How can we revisit the assessment framework that we currently have for the students' well-being?
For my understanding, the Ministry of Education have been hiring many experts, especially with PhD from outside, with a lot of experience. But sometimes with idea, it's still hard to implement. Already in a culture where it's been there for so long, newcomer, this happens in every country. If you are new, they will gang up on you. If you try to implement or apply something that affects their working comfort zone, that's number one. Number two is something does not benefit you. And number three, even if they were to apply those new policy, it needs funds. And Cambodia have all of that combination. And just to add on to your mention about students' situation, for my experience for the past 22 years, and by living overseas, I feel Cambodian students probably facing the most stressful situation in their life. And as a mental health doctor, as a psychiatrist, as a doctor, medical doctor, practicing medicine in mental health, I see thousands and thousands of students, and almost everyone have the same problem. Stress, and then go to depression, then go to bipolar, then go to schizophrenia, and then go back home, and then parents lock up or tie their leg to the tree and so on. So the rate of stress depression is so high, and that it's become an intergenerational problem, and it's like inescapable. So we, Cambodians, are facing extreme difficulty from all sector, all angle of life. So by reducing the national exam, you can help big major one major release stressor. Because right now, it doesn't help. Students learn but don't remember. They don't learn critical thinking. They don't learn the skill that are needed, the trade skill, the financial literacy, the business, and the vocational TVET skill, and digital skill. They don't learn all those things. So basically, they only learn to memorize and pass the national exam. And those people who learn something that I just mentioned, very few percentage. They learn it because they can afford from outside tutoring.
I think we all agree that AI will cook everyone on memory.
Yes.
Memorization. They will memorize.
And remember,
they will cook all of us.
Yeah. And remember, in order to be able to use AI, you have to be intelligent yourself. Otherwise, your comment, your prompts, your expectation from AI will be totally disappointed, and sometimes become completely wrong. So you need smart people to use AI too.
I feel that the more we talk about, I mean, when we talk about AI, we talk about memorization, we talk about the exit exam. I think all of that points to the fact that I think we're trying to create machines instead of actually creating intelligence, human intelligence who could actually use machine and manipulate machine or tell machine what to do. That seems to be the main issue, and reform in similar frame, right? Framing in trying to get more students to pass the exit exam, to memorize better. I would say would be not reform, would be trying to do the same thing better. And maybe now at this current age, that might not be enough. I'm going to ask one last question, and then we're going to go on the breakout. I apologize. You can ask as many questions to him, to each other, as much as you can during the breakout, because it's going to be a smaller group. You will stay at some of the stations. I'm going to ask a very simple question, and that is, I want to hear your criticism of the private school sectors, because you're in the private school. I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't want you to praise the private school and criticize the public school. The private school must have some problems. I want to hear from you.
I just want to say this to be fair. A lot of private schools are doing worse than public school. A lot of private schools are doing worse than the public school. They are only better because the perception of safety, security are independent by paying money. But their quality is horrible, their management is horrible, and the quality, only a few schools that pop up top, private school. So basically, a sense of being in compounds, a sense of having someone watch over, a sense of someone give homework, whether not correct or not correct, understand or not. That perception of secure encampment, that's what parents have. But the quality, some of the schools are not as good as public school. And private, some school, it's ridiculous overcharge that's not supposed to be.
Not your school, right?
I give you this. We have school that start from 500 to 800. That's everywhere. And the school that start 1,000 to 1,000 plus. That's my school. But we have a lot of leisure school here. Start 3,000 to 30,000. 3,500 to 30,000. And that school is so abundant, so many places. And last year and this year, they are competing everywhere. And they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to build a school that have no student, and they charge almost free as incentive for students to come to their school first. So if I were the government, I would be worried what happened to those schools when they go bankrupt or when they close. Because a lot happened before. Yeah.
What happened to the students?
Yeah, what happened to the students? Who's going to accommodate them? Okay. And every once in a while we have that.
We're going to leave it that interesting.
I just want to give you one policy in mind that I want to say it out. If not, I am not happy.
Okay, please.
I would prefer we don't do the national exam for the sake of failing student or passing student. And give the wrong perception, the pass university, the fail TVET. That will not help TVET for a long term. And that's what we need the most right now. So something must be done to change that perception. And I believe it will take a long time. Number two, we take assessment to assess our student. Are we doing the right thing to the student? Are we teaching the right thing to the student? Are we giving the right subject to the student? And then find solution. By number one, from high school up, upper secondary, change curriculum so that they don't have to study that. And partner with TVET vocational so that they can go to high school from 10 to 12 grade in those schools that train them to be able to work and get skill diploma. So give many options, many open available possibility pathway for them. And I know it's going to be hard because this has been practiced for many, many decades. But the new decade is not going to help us. We have to ask ourselves, are we teaching students for the past, or are we teaching students preparing to enter the future, which is unavoidable. And if you are not educated, you are not up to par with the international, machine will use you. You'll be slave to machine. But if other country, they use the machine to progress. Remember, you need to be educated to be able to use the machine wisely. So if you're not educated, you're not well-versed, machine will use you. And that is a failure.
Thank you. I'm happy you mentioned, you said these ideas, these policies. I'm happy too because I like the fact that I think we need to do better with the assessment, with the exit exam, and some of the comments you made about the need for critical thinking, the time the student needs to actually grow up, let alone, I mean, so as soon as we talk about the private sector and the public sector, we have not even touched about the political economy analysis of education. That is, whose interests are we defending, or who's have power, policy power on what, which shape a lot of things, and based on what policies are they supporting or promoting or putting in place based on what interests as well. So,
to be honest with you, the government have done so much, but the change is too fast to catch up. This is what I feel. Yeah, the change is too fast for us to catch up. But if the World War before, we would have reached a milestone already. But because everything's changing rapidly, we have to catch up.
Let's run faster. I'm gonna thank you, Dr. Mengly Bong, for joining this evening. But also you're gonna hang around and chit-chatting with different stations also. I want you to ask all of you to join me in actually giving an applause to our guests.